Hey guys, Hutch here, and welcome to this week's Clone Wars Critics. Today with us we have a special guest,
Hi, I'm Yab2671.
and returning with us this week we have,
Dan Grievous.
And Grievous Friends 15.
and we are going to be talking about the next episode in the Clone Wars Season 5. This episode is called War on Two Fronts. Dan will actually be starting with what we liked about the episode. So Dan, how about you go on ahead?
Okay, fine. Okay, what do I begin with? I liked and I love personally the look of Onderon. That's the best part of the episode. It just looks stunning. The trees look amazing, and everything just looks stunning on the planet. The architecture that looks like Roman architecture is just wow. I just love it. The beasts are interesting and kind of different, unique. And I like all the new characters. I mean, even Steely, who's kind of like poking in the Ahsoka, kind of like. But I love Saw. I like this character a lot because he's decisive. He looks awesome, and he looks like he is the guy who's gonna take charge in these episodes. Even Lux was, fun because compared to the last episode, he looks cool here. He looks like some Rambo guy. Unlike like the previous episode where he looked like Mama's boy who was packed in with the cold gear and like the Mama's little hat and the scarf and yeah. But I like the Onderonian rebels and the way they kind of trained. Gave us more explanation on how the droids and their tanks worked. That was good, but it was kind of long. But it was good. It was interesting, but it was long, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me from
All
me.
right, well, thank you, and go ahead, Corey.
Okay, what I liked about this episode, as an Ahsoka fanboy, yeah, you'd probably guess that. That is my number one thing, and she's really fun this episode, and also the new love interest, at least, like, they're kind of playing at that he's a love interest. Saul is a great character. I really like this guy. He looks awesome, and yeah, his character is going through a lot of great things. Like, he's a leader, which is really great because, well, you can pretty much guess from the start that he's going to be the leader. Like, in the trailer, like, you can just tell that that guy's going to be leading the attack. And yeah, he looks awesome, and his voice actor did a great job, and his character's getting through well done development. Yeah, I can't wait to see more of him, and I especially love this one scene whenever he insults Bonteri. He's like, "You're a terrible soldier, Bonteri." I just love that scene right there because, well, his sort is very relatable to me. Like, he hates Bonteri, and like he's getting close to Ahsoka. Like, I hope they explore that more in the rest of the arc. Like, yeah, we can tell that he's like starting to be like Ahsoka's new love interest. So, and that could go in a new direction. I kind of like the idea. Yeah. Also, Steela, I think she's starting all right now. Like, yeah. I think it would be a downside that she's Bon Terry's new girlfriend, but I don't know. She's pretty interesting, and like, she's like Saul's sister. Sorry, like she's Saul's sister, and I did not know that at first, but it's really interesting to know that. Plus the training scenes, like it was nice. It was interesting seeing how the tanks and the droidekas work. Yeah, it was well done. It was well done on that part. Yeah, and the fact that they don't focus too much on like Bon Terry, like well, they do kind of focus on his new relationship with Steela a little, but as long as he's away from Ahsoka, I'm good with it because we don't need another heroes on both sides or friend in need event. So those are my thoughts on how I like the episode.
All right, Gab, go ahead.
Honestly, I don't know what else to add. I think Dan pretty much took the words out of my mouth when he talked about what he thought. So the only thing I can really add is, again, I think the animation is just stunning. The animators have really improved over the last few seasons, especially when it comes to the animation of the backgrounds. You know, just Onderon just looks amazing. One of my absolute favorite planet designs so far. And of course, I thought the monsters and creatures were fascinating. You know, especially like the flying ones. I don't know what they're called. So again, that's Dan already said that. But honestly, the thing that really stood out for me was honestly the supposed love triangle. And honestly, that's probably the only thing that that I found interesting. Like, I think it's a great way to develop Ahsoka's character and actually sort of show her almost element of jealousy. You know, and it sort of questioned her whether she should follow her feelings or I think it's a great way to develop her character. And I sort of did enjoy Lux a lot more in this episode. He didn't feel bland. He didn't feel spoiled or any of those things. Like a spoiled, rotten kid, really. But he was still interesting. You know, I liked his look, and that's really all I can say because there's nothing really else I can add.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, I think I can agree. I think Lux as a character has. I kind of did like him in this episode. I mean, he was pretty good, and I mean, like you guys all said, the graphics and stuff in this were just amazing. I mean, Onderon, they did a wonderful job just with the design, and like even the sequence towards the beginning, when they first enter the planet and Starker and stuff like that. I mean, it's you feel this, I don't know, this environment that you're entering into. I mean, you feel this way with other planets and stuff, but I mean, they did a wonderful job with just the whole design. And I think there wasn't a lot for me to say that I particularly enjoyed in this episode, but definitely the graphics and like you said, Gab, the creatures, they were wow. And the training I've seen, the training was interesting. I mean, it was just it was interesting how they kind of applied that to these these nuances essentially to trying to fight this war. And it's kind of, it feels a bit of a deja vu from somewhere, but I can't put my finger on which one it was. But otherwise, yeah, I think that was probably it for what I liked about the episode. So anyway, with that in mind, let's continue on to what we didn't like about this episode. Go ahead, Dan.
Oh yes. Okay, now that's my cue on what I felt about this episode. But first of all, I didn't like the main cast that was here. Not Ahsoka, not the Onderonians, but the fact that they found in Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Rex in. They have no place in this arc. Especially Anakin's cheesy lines like, "Oh, I thought it was insurgency. Oh, most impressive." All those lines that just were painful. And Rex, "Oh, I'm gonna show you how the 501st." Oh, yeah, I know how the 501st do. They don't obey orders. They kind of screw everything over. So yeah, I don't care how the 501st do it. Basically, what I didn't like the episode about is actually the most is that it was very, very boring in terms of pace. I mean, it was like they met Saw, and they introduced Saw where he said like, Saw Gerrera. Like, that scene was at the 7-minute mark. I mean, they spent half the episode barely walking. I mean, we didn't need that stupid introduction like rebels. I mean, we didn't need that pointless chattering in the stupid Jedi temple. That in the past they would have done it in a newsreel. They could have cut the whole thing, already send the guys there, and they and then the Jedi meet with Steela Gerrera on Onderon, and then it begins. Not blah 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 blah. And they could have just sent Ahsoka to have because the whole mole stupidity is going on, and they send Ahsoka because they're starting to trust her, and because Lux is there, so basically there is a reason for Ahsoka, 1 and 2 reasons for her to be there. And the whole love triangles that they're developing, and how they are kind of developing that Saw, maybe there's going to be Lux is going to get jealous by Saw. Okay, that's going to be fine. but the other characters, they were like, oh look, we have to be hypocrites because we fight other people's wars. Like we go on Naboo and do all crazy sort of stupidity just to defend that stupid queen and that stupid senator. And here they say, no, we can't help them. We just have to leave them to die. We're gonna train them, but we're gonna leave like little girls. Then nothing happened. That's the problem. They train. We could be just told that they trained. I mean, we didn't. At this point, I am curious. Why do we need an entire episode that feels like that it just needs to explain and set up things? Back in the day, they began an episode with a setup and introduced the things. Like in the Brilliant episode, which I was not a big fan, but in terms of setup, landing in Point Rain, introduced all the characters, introduced the setup, introduced the objectives in less than 5 minutes. This episode took them almost 30 minutes to explain what they have to do. Just really took their time. Just they did chew the scenery, especially Anakin, like mimicking and over exaggerating thing. And the problem is, it ended like on this beautiful shot of the main, plaza of the main palace, which I think is going to be the place that all the stuff is going to happen later in the arc. But one thing that I have to ask, even if we had episodic setups, like Darkness on Umbara, which was kind of like that, there was some kind of at least resolve or something. I mean, Darkness on Umbara was not the best example, but for instance, Innocence on Ryloth, which was in the middle of an arc, which introduced Numa, Waxer, and Boyle's story. They did not just stop in the middle of nowhere. They resolved, they returned Numa to her parent, and they freed Nabat. So basically, there was an episodic, resolve. Here, there was nothing of it. There was no episodic resolve, and I felt that they introduced things and they just stopped. I hate that. It's like I watch an episode, so I get a resolve in a week or two. That's stupid. That's why I hated Umbara in a bit, because I got payoff in, Carnage of Krell, but they were building up, this payoff 3 episodes, which was stupid. And the final thing is, I don't get what's the whole situation with Ondron in the end. The intro says, a Republic planet fallen. But we know that Senator Bonteri, Mina, and Lux both represented Ondron in the Senate of the Separatists. A stupid thing, but they did. So basically, what's this stupidity like, Republic planet fallen, since they did represent it, since Mina Bonteri already left the Republic with the entire planet? It just doesn't make sense. They need to explain this better, because it's going to turn into some stupid hybrid of Umbara, Dak, and a friend in need, and all the episodes I hated of season 4. I'm sorry. Somebody else take. Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Corey.
Okay, as Dan explained, they brought in Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Rex for no reason. I understand the need for bringing Anakin in, just to say goodbye to Ahsoka, but they fleshed him out in this episode, and I had a problem with that a little. Just leave Ahsoka in charge of these rebels. She's near their age. She's very capable in combat on her own. She's a proven leader, and also, she's starting to develop some kind of love interest with Saw. Why not just, have Anakin just drop her off and then leave? We don't have to bring in Obi-Wan. We don't have to bring in Rex. Just have Ahsoka train all these people on her own. She can do it. We've seen her do this before. Okay, and another thing, as you said earlier, whenever it said Republic planet fallen, I was like, what? It's a separatist world. Everyone knows that. Mina Bonteri is a separatist, and this is her home world. She represents it in the separatists. Why would they say Republic planet whenever it's clearly a separatist planet? They even said that it was a separatist world. It made no sense to me why they would say Republic planet fallen. Just say separatist conflict. It would actually make sense because there's infighting among the separatists. But why Republic? It's not in the Republic, and it's not going to join the Republic even after the battle's over. What's the point? a major thing for me, Bon Terry. Everyone knows this. Everyone has witnessed it. I despise Bon Terry. Yeah, everyone knows this. There's more than one reason. Okay, this guy is like what a lot of people considered Jake Lloyd as Anakin or Jar Jar Binks in Episode One. Like he's just annoys me. Like every time he gets on screen, he's just it's so pointless that it's annoying. Like yeah, I just like really friggin' hate this guy. Like they had no need to bring him back in season 4. They could have just killed him in like season 3 and be done with it, and we wouldn't have gotten a friend in need, which was a terrible episode. But still, my God, like but Terry. The thing was that he was like foreshadowed by Saw being awesome. Yeah, yeah, so that was like not as bad as previous episodes with him, but certainly still not very good. Like as I still hate Bon Terry. And I think still one last thing. Okay. Hmm. Let me think on this. Well, why would the Republic decide to help out these rebels and separatists? Like the Republic itself, it will not be concerned with like the separatists infighting among themselves. It'd be like if Megatron and Starscream were in a conflict in Transformers, and like Optimus was like, "We must help Starscream or Megatron, whatever." Like it'd be so out of character. Like I can understand the Jedi like trying to do the right thing, but honestly, these guys aren't gonna join the Republic in the end. So what's the point? And that's it.
All right then, go ahead, Gab.
Once again, I don't know if there's really anything more I can add because both Dan and Corey pretty much said all the flaws, except I kind of like Mark's, but I digress. I suppose all I can really add is a bit. It doesn't make sense. This whole business, about it being a republic planet. The introductions could have, been summed up in just 2 minutes rather than half the episode. So really, to me, I don't think it was terrible. Not the worst episode. I don't think it was Shadow Warrior bad. It was just a dull episode, but more on the sort of, I would say, okay-ish, But really, there's nothing really else I can add, except it just dragged on, pointlessly. That's really it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you guys basically all nailed it for me. I mean, in addition to it, I just felt it pained me to watch this episode again. I will be honest. I watched the episode once, and I found myself drifting while watching it. My
Really?
thoughts were elsewhere. Yeah, it's like I couldn't. For some reason, I didn't bother to. I found it quite boring, really.
Same here.
And it wasn't something. I mean, when I had to come back and watch it again, I don't know. Well, I mean, this is coming from a guy. I like a lot of the stories from the first season of Clone Wars, but and this one just kind of it doesn't feel like it. It just feels. I don't know. This belongs in season 3, really. But I mean, the graphics were great and stuff, but the characters I didn't fully understand. And why was Obi-Wan and Anakin there? Like, I don't know. I mean, really, like you guys said, Obi-Wan should I don't know, like he should be out worrying about this whole thing with Maul and just finding a way to get rid of him or something, and keeping away, keeping him out of the story. And then Anakin, well, they could find something for him to do. I don't know. He shouldn't have been here either. They didn't help. I mean, they really didn't help the plot at all, essentially. And then Rex, he was just, I don't even understand why they would. I mean, I'm kind of half and half about the idea of having them train how to fight. I mean, I don't know if that's even necessary, like in an episodic trilogy. I don't know, but and the whole thing, like retaking the planet. It's just I don't know. It's a very I guess it's an arc that we've seen commonly. It's not something. I mean, it's basically something we all know how it's probably going to end or something. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say. So with that in mind, let's move on to our overall thoughts on the episode. Go ahead, Dan.
Okay, overall episodic views on the situation so far with A War on Two Fronts. Okay, it's gorgeous looking, but it was very, 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 very boring. Boring. With no resolve in the episode, I at least expected to be like, I mean, I was not expecting it to be like, bam, boom, bam, like the Uto like massacre or bounty even. I was not expecting it to be so fun and awesome, but I was expecting at least the level of fun that which episode gave me. At least, Cargo of Doom level of fun, or at least Defenders of Peace level of fun. This was mainly just them talking, setting up. And by the way, I love this, this episode and stuff. And I'm getting the feeling that they didn't need to include Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Rex at all. I know that Lucas is phoning in this stupid rebel thing, but they could have just, mentioned it, like Anakin in the shuttle saying, "May the Force be with you, Ahsoka. Go help the rebels." They could have done that, not like Obi-Wan and Anakin arguing like idiots, like stupid little children. Like, well, we're not gonna train terrorists, rebels. It's like, well, duh. If they're rebels and they turn against the Jedi, they're terrorists. So I don't freaking care. And so far, this season is pretty much marked out for each character. I mean, it's a stupid decision that they decided to cut off all the awesome Jedi that we love, like Plo Koon, Kit Fisto, Shaak Ti, just to focus on these guys. Like, for instance, so far I've noticed that we're gonna have this is Ahsoka's arc. After the final episode of Ondron ends, I think it was called Tipping Points, where I'm pretty sure everything, as you said, is gonna play out as expected usually. We're gonna go into the Anakin arc with Clovis, and then we're gonna go into the possibly Obi-Wan's arc with Maul, and then we're gonna go into R2-D2's arc, with Gregor. Yeah, so basically, if they're gonna do this as an Ahsoka arc, and I'm kind of hopeful that they're gonna continue, like, because it could work as an arc, but if they focus on the essential things, if this is gonna be Ahsoka's thing, do it as an Ahsoka arc. Not like they did with the Slaver's arc last season, like, these are my people. Yeah, which is kind of like messed up because they're not your people, even though they were colonists. Because that's like calling, well, I know that there are Bulgarians who have settled in the US, but, in ages past, but at this point, they have, melted with the entire population of the Americas, and basically they've become Americans. Yeah, they are Caucasians, but I don't call them my people, even though they have Bulgarian ancestry, kind of, I don't know. But, or like Germans, like for instance, I don't call Germans my people, even though they're Caucasians or something. But the thing is, I hope they don't go the whole way of the Slaver's arc, where they say, well, these are Ahsoka's people, and they're gonna do this and that, and then they're gonna focus on Anakin, even though it was supposed to be Ahsoka's story. I just hope it gets better. Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Corey.
Okay, my overall thoughts on the episode. I thought, like, it was okay. I did not have high expectations for this episode because, like, Bon Terry was in it, and we all know how I feel. Yeah, I did not have high expectations. I was surprisingly find this episode okay. Like, I really liked Ahsoka. I really liked Saw, especially. I liked the training sequences. Yeah, and also the creatures. Yeah, it was an okay episode. Yeah, it had this mixture of good and bad, but still, it was overall okay. I really hope that, like, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Rex just leave at one point, leave Ahsoka to lead the rebels. Like, and focus on her relationship with Saw more, yeah, that would be great. I'd love to see that. I see more of Saw as the leader and possibly some more conflict between him and Monteri, as Monteri is a terrible soldier, he said. Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully, like, with this episode, it's, like, just the starting points of something better. Like, we'll see more of Ahsoka and Saw as the arc goes on. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully it's a starting point, yeah, but still, yeah, I hope it's starting something better. Like, as this episode was just okay. Like, it's not good, not bad, just okay. Yeah.
All right then. Go ahead, Gab.
Well, overall, I thought this was an okay episode, I suppose. I mean, I didn't really have much expectations for this one particular episode, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. I mean, it was better than I thought it would be, but that's not really saying much. It's just a really dull and slow-paced episode with some minor highlights. I mean, again, the look of Onderon is fantastic. We love the Rebel designs. I love how they're getting very unique when it comes to character designs. I love these new characters. I love Steele. I love Saw. I'm liking Lux Von Terry a lot better. I'm liking the direction they're going to go with Ahsoka in this arc. Again, though, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Rex, completely pointless. All I can hope for is that it doesn't, follow the same flaws that the Umbara arc fell when it was just repeating the same plot over and over again until Carnage of Krell. So this time, hopefully, each episode will be unique, and hopefully Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Rex will sod off at the end of the next episode. So yeah, that's really what I can say. I'd probably just put it on the okay factor. Nothing terrible about it, but nothing really spectacular about it either. Just okay.
Very good. Overall, I think this episode, meh. Okay, I didn't find this episode entertaining in really any respect besides the animation. I mean, it was just, right now it feels pointless, and like you guys said, it's following it's almost like the Umbara arc. The whole reason why the episode concluded with like this cliffhanger, it's one thing to conclude with like maybe they didn't resolve anything. In fact, it doesn't even seem like they started anything if you think about it. It's just this episode you could I'm guessing if next week is all about the taking back the castle or whatever, but if it's all about that, then it feels like this episode is essentially pointless, other than the fact that it was introducing these other characters. And I really just that's basically all I see this episode for. It's just introducing these other characters whom, I'm hoping isn't going to fall victim to the Adi Gallia fate where they introduce them once and then all of a sudden they're just plucked off, which it's very, very, very possible.
Yes.
But back to what I was saying. Because like the Umbara arc where they kept going, it'd just be like non-stop, no cliffhanger. I mean, there would be a cliffhanger, after each episode, and it was like nothing accomplished. It needs, I don't know, it can't be seen as a standalone episode. Therefore, I can't fully give my full opinion about it. I have to wait for this arc to be completed, and when that happens, I don't know, because I mean, it's very possible they could do better with it, but otherwise, I don't know. Really, my opinion for this episode is meh. I just don't feel like I click with it at all. So, alright, now we can move on to the additional comments. So, does anybody have any additional comments?
I do.
Okay.
But I suppose Dan should go first.
Oh, no. I have nothing to add to this boring episode. Gab, take the floor.
Alright, Gab.
If you say so. I suppose the only thing I can really add is how I actually am very interested to see what they're going to do next in the arc, really. My expectations are high, but not too high. I mean, just from the trailers, it does look like it's going to pick up. Like, to me, this episode was just like the front cover of a book, really. It was like a bookend. it didn't really have much purpose, but it'll get things going. Like the trailers look, the clips they showed in the trailers look fantastic. The scale of these landscapes and these characters, these fight scenes, these droids, fighting humans. They're not fighting clones. That's unique. I'm really looking forward to that. And I can't believe we haven't mentioned Hondo and Naka going to be in this Onderon arc. Who's not hyped for that? Seriously.
Yeah, it'll probably bring some joy for me for this.
Even if he only will appear for like 5 minutes, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
like
still,
drops off weapons and like, all right, let's get going.
Yeah.
Well,
It'll probably be in it.
I still.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a better highlight than what we got in this episode. That's for sure.
Yeah.
that's for sure. Indeed.
Yes.
And again, I am totally hyped to see what they're going to do with this love triangle. That's really, honestly, the only thing I'm really interested in, apart from them taking over Onderon. But again, it's a plot we've seen over and over again in the Clone Wars, and it does get boring. If they do something new with it, that's fine, because the only thing really new is the fact it's Onderon. It's a planet we've never seen before. It's an old planet. It's from the Old Republic era. It just looks amazing. It really does look amazing. And the fact that these are humans trying to rebel against the Separatists. But really, that's nothing really new to it apart from, the fact it's rebels. People, actual inhabitants trying to take over. So really, that's really all I have to say for additional comments.
All right.
Yeah.
One thing I should add to as what Gab said, because he said everything I would have said, but I agree with his points of view. The thing is, I am hopeful for the future, because this episode could have been better, but we of course there are things we have seen all the clips and they have kind of showed promise with the gunships, with the battles, with the king finally doing something and the other people doing something. It'll be interesting what goes there and what happens. But the problem is, Hondo's gonna be like the beacon of hope, basically. Like he's gonna be there, and I'm pretty sure maybe he'll want to go on the shuttle, but maybe it's gonna be stuck because we see gunships right after that. So maybe the gunships blow him down and he just is stranded on Onderon. That would be cool.
Yeah. I think
yeah.
if they did something like that, if they keep Hondo around this whole season, I think, he would just really, not overuse him, not like shove him in every episode, like, oh, there he is again. Yeah, because otherwise we just get tired of him. But, he's really, like I said, he's my favorite character in the Clone Wars besides Pre Vizsla. And, seeing him a lot more than we did, since season 2 and season 1, it's just it's exciting, hopefully we'll be seeing a lot of him, in these coming episodes.
Yeah.
Episodes,
Hondo is one thing that I'm looking forward to. Like, I know, like, which episode he's going to appear in, like, based by the title, An Old Friend. Yeah. It's going to be, like, the episode that Hondo's bound to come in. Like,
Wait, old
so
friend?
Old Friend, yeah.
No,
like,
that's not it. That's not it.
That's not it?
No.
What's it going to be called? Hang on,
okay,
can someone remind what the name of the episodes of the Onderon arc are called? This one's called War on Two Fronts. What are the next ones called?
Okay, the next one is Frontrunners,
Soft War.
and then Tipping Points.
Right.
Now, the
So
thing
which-
is,
And Old
which one do you
Friend
think-
comes after that, though, doesn't it? It's not part of this arc. It's part of the Clovis
Old
arc,
Friend-
Oh,
right?
hang on. I think
That's
Old Friend
Clovis.
is actually the Clovis arc.
yes,
That's
it is
it.
because
First Clovis, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've kind of lost track. I think Hondo's going to appear in the 3rd episode of this arc. Yeah.
indeed.
Most
Yeah,
likely
I think so.
because, that, like, Hondo's not going to be, like, at the start, obviously. He's not going to be at the start of this whole battle. Like, he's probably going to hear about it, go to assist Ahsoka by giving her the rocket launchers, and then he's going to go. Yeah.
I
Well,
think
I think we can all predict what's going to happen, in the arc. I ideally hope they're not just going to repeat the same plot. I don't think they will, though, because, next episode will just be like, they're going to take over the city, and the Jedi aren't really needed apart from Ahsoka. No, more like Ahsoka's going to stay because of what? Third episode will be like the droids attacking the Citadel or something, because you see them see the rebels shooting over the walls, and then the final episode is just them officially taking care of the Separatists once and for all, something like that. I don't know. So I suppose Hondo will appear in maybe the third, possibly fourth episode, maybe. I don't know. It really depends.
One thing I want to add, in terms of the whole arc as a whole picture, since we've gone already to that part, our expectations of how the arc will play out. So far, I think somebody did post, I think even the Underworld posted the synopsises for the next several episodes, and Onderon was confirmed to have 4 episodes. Old Friend had a synopsis saying that an old friend comes forward and seeks help with weeding out corruption in banking corruption, and I think it's going to be something like Clovis coming in, asking Padme to help out. So basically, tipping points is where things get real.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, front runners, I think, because we're gonna get in those night scenes where Ahsoka's fighting commando droids in the middle of the city.
Right.
There are gonna be some scenes where the Onderonans are gonna prove that they've learned how to take down droidekas, because there were some droidekas in the middle of the city in the promo that they released on Cartoon Network's Facebook page. And I think the rebels will be driven away from the city because Count Dooku will send the gunships, and they, everybody from the city who decided, we will join your cause. That's where steal a speech like, until we will keep reminding them until we get Onderon back, or something like that. That's where this speech comes in. They rally the people, evacuate from the city, being driven away by the droids. Then we have the gunships who sweep the city. Then we have, them going to some little settlement in the middle of nowhere, like they build like this fort, because you see that this is not the city is really, really breaking stone, and and what we see when the gunships are attacking this fort is rebel troops on stone sticks, like something like out of the Stone Age, like something really old. And that's where I think somehow somebody's gonna send, maybe for help. Maybe this is where everything like gonna intertwine with the Maul arc, and maybe Hondo's gonna be sent in. He's gonna give the weapons to the troops, and basically this is where the droid comes in, the one that I've been speaking about for months, the one with the green paint job that is actually, I think, a new version of a tactical droid, because it has the special pants and the abdomen area as a tactical droid. And in the end, everything's gonna converge where the droids are gonna capture Saw and this king, and it's gonna be all in the public square where chaos will happen. That's gonna be tipping points, in my opinion. Well, one thing I want to point out, because I just saw a clip. I'm not sure if you guys heard, but in Frontrunners, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Rex leave. There's a scene.
Good.
Whoa.
Yeah, they are going to leave. They are going to leave in that episode.
It's gonna be awesome.
That's wonderful.
Indeed.
Yay! Hooray!
Like,
Oh, this episode's already looking better by the second.
Oh yeah.
Get out the champagne.
Yes.
Oh, I will.
I bet, like that hologram scene with like Anakin and everyone is probably either talking to the rebels or like making a direct like warning to the king. Yeah, it could be either of that. Like he's either giving a talk to the rebels or like warning the king about the rebels. Like they're gonna come for you, and even though we're not there, they're gonna stop you. Yeah, hopefully you. Yeah. Either way, I'm gonna like really enjoy that. Like Obi-Wan and Anakin are leaving, and then like Ahsoka's gonna take over. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful news. Great way to end this episode. So, with that in mind, I guess we will see what the next episode brings for us with that, bit of excitement. Anyway, this is Hutch signing out, and everybody else. So, everybody have a good week, and watch Clone Wars this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Till next time.
Goodbye. Until the next time.